Cool. Let's do this. I'm Meg, everyone. Thank you so much for showing up this afternoon on this absolutely gorgeous Sunday. I don't know, I truly feel really blessed and grateful with, I guess, the challenges that we're all faced with, but trying to see things as much as possible through different eyes. And I wanted to share about the ability to choose to respond, not react. So much at the moment is changing second by second, and it is always a choice that no matter what unfolds in front of us, we always have that choice to choose response, to keep our nervous system in a state of regularity and at ease. Today I was triggered massively. I kind of got back from Merriweather, did some stairs, got in the ocean, did some handstands, had a play, and just found out some different rules on situations that's constantly evolving and changing, and I felt my whole body just start to tense up. That's the first thing we notice whenever something in our environment triggers us. Our body will tense, our body closes, and the moment that our body closes, it means that we are not being present, right? So our shoulders will lift, so straight away I started to feel bloated. I started to increase my breath rate, my heart closed, and I felt tension right up into my shoulders. And I didn't catch it for about an hour, and I felt really, really reactive, and I was like, I really want to I want to react to this somehow. I want to get mad, I want to blame someone, I want to take this on board. And when I did catch it, I was like, whoa, what's my body doing? Right, my body is tensing, my body is closing. What's the emotion that's linked into this? And the emotion was a feeling of anger, was a feeling of resentment, and a feeling of judgment. When I could recognize those two things, so body and emotion, it's the first things that I talk about in the Be Here method. So I've just finished my book, and they're the very first two things. So I was coming back to my own method into this, and it's my body and emotion is being triggered. What do I need in my heart right now? I chose to offer myself compassion, because whatever happened, and it's going to happen anyway. And it really does me no favors of tensing my body and putting my nervous system into fight or flight. The situation's happened, but I am the one who has a choice whether or not I choose to give myself compassion in that moment, or I choose to let that become a story and I hold on to it for the rest of the afternoon, and then that stays stuck in my body for maybe not just the afternoon but tomorrow as well. And it knocks me out of being present. So a really beautiful, one of my friends, Kathy Feenan, calls it a blessing and a lesson. When we are triggered in our environment, we always have the choice to choose. It's only about 1% of the time that you are going to need that full fight or flight survival mode to get yourself out of a dangerous situation. So it is honestly about coming back to presence, and what better way to do that than practicing yoga. So we're going to bring that into our practice today. Notice if any of the shapes that we go into trigger you or bring up emotions, and I invite you just to be with them, to notice if they're building up in your body, and to let them out if that's the case. That's what Yin's all about. It's an internal practice, and no emotion is ever worth suppressing or pushing down. Some days are shit, and it is just about acknowledging that, and just going, this is really hard today, I'm really struggling, I feel this, I'm experiencing this in my body, but it's not a bad thing, it just is what it is. We're meant to feel the really deep, dark moments, the lows, and we're also meant to feel the highs. None of it is better or worse than another, it just simply is. So I want to start our Yin practice today with some breath work to land us into this space right now. So wherever you are, find something to sit on, whether it's a cushion or a yoga block or a bolster, it doesn't matter. And I invite you to take this time to roll your shoulders up, back and down. Notice what that feels like. Loosen your hands, whether they're up, down or in your lap. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Surrender right now into this moment. So whatever has happened in your day, you know, maybe you had a day like mine where we received some pretty shitty news, and it's easy to become reactive. Is it possible to have gratitude for whatever unfolded today? To see if we can find a little bit of compassion and light in maybe the things we did, the people we got to hang around with, the pure joy that was today, the sunshine, the ocean, yoga. You know, at the end of the day, there is always something to be grateful for. So over these next 10 breaths, I invite you to send your energy into a whirlwind of gratitude and appreciation. Finding the words thank you in situations that challenge us, give us so much opportunity for growth. So we're going to do some focus breath work here, focusing on 3 areas of the body to stimulate our vagus nerve. So when we start this breath work, we're going to be breathing in from the belly, the rib cage and the lungs, and then we'll exhale from the lungs, the rib cage and the belly, creating a wave-like effect. When we breathe from the depths of our belly, again we stimulate the vagus nerve, which with neuroception tells a message from the gut to the brain that we are okay, that we are settled, and that we are in flow. So take a deep breath in, and an open mouth breath out. Breathing in, fill up the belly, fill up the rib cage, fill up the lungs. Breathe out, deflate the lungs, deflate the rib cage, and pull the belly to the spine. Inhale, fill up belly, fill up through the rib cage, fill up into the lungs. And exhale, lungs, rib cage, belly. Inhale, belly, rib cage, lungs. Exhale, lungs, rib cage, belly. Keep going on your own, breathing in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Exhale. Continue on your own. When you can become aware of your body's somatic response in all situations that unfold in front of us, we can become present enough to choose again. By recognizing that when our body tenses up, when our breath speeds up, when we feel bloated, when we feel tight in the tummy, when we get a headache, when we feel our shoulders tense, there is always an emotion linked into that. It is about sitting with that and asking the question, why? Why am I being triggered in this moment? What is the emotion that's attached? And how can I offer myself compassion in this moment? We need to use our triggers as our teachers, not to suppress them and push them down or to ignore them, but to literally lean in and do the work. When we can do the work on ourselves and dive a little bit deeper as to what it is that's pushing our buttons, no matter what unfolds around us, we always have that opportunity to choose again and not let it touch the sides. Therefore, choosing not to take it on board, and therefore not allowing it to take up space in our bodies. And that is pure presence, living moment by moment, not holding on to, not clinging or resisting anything. In life in general, we move through good times, we move through hard times. It's like the ocean. But allowing ourselves to get caught up in a moment is where we start to gather and store inflammation, sickness, disease, even tension in our bodies over time. So whatever unfolds in front of us, especially right now, constantly come back to asking yourself the question, am I choosing to respond with love and compassion? Or am I choosing to react on autopilot, reactivity, judgment, and resentment? That choice is always ours. Take one more full breath in, and a full breath out. Gently opening up your eyes. Always knowing that that breathwork practice is always there to again stimulate that vagus nerve, to tell our brain that we are okay, that we are safe. So we're going to start our practice lying down on our backs today. We're going to come straight into a hamstring stretch. So grab your something, whether or not it be a strap, whether or not it be a dressing gown cord, or even a belt. Now I'm going to show two different variations. Now I know that a lot of you have a yoga strap from last lockdown. So if you do, we're going to buckle it. So we're going to come into Hammock Pose, but I'm also going to show a variation if you are working with something else. So whether that be a, something you found around the house, a towel. I think Chelsea used a stocking the other day. Just find what you can. So that if you are using a buckled strap, then we are going to come into Hammock Pose. So we're getting straight into it today. We only have an hour for Yin. I'd love to do longer, but at the moment that's what we've got. So if your hamstrings are tight, it's really important to have the buckle on the end so that you have a lot of space. And like a headband, the strap is going to go around the back of the head, and it is going to sit just above the ears. And we're going to support the head with the strap. Now for those of you that don't have a buckled strap, no worries at all. You'll be using whatever device you've found and keeping the knee soft of the right leg. You'll be holding onto the strap, but letting your scapula melt down into the ground. So we don't want to have the shoulders off the ground. We want to literally let go and have the scapula on the ground and the shoulders and the upper back completely relaxed. So finding where you need to be, we're going to start to come into this first shape. So finding a space that works for you. Now for some people you might need to keep that left knee bent depending on what this feels like in your body. Please keep a soft knee bend in your right knee, and the strap is around the middle of the foot, and then slowly just allowing yourself to settle into this beautiful hamstring stretch. We have 3 elements that we need to look after in Yin Yoga, and it's the same across the board, and it's really, really important that we honour this in every single class in Yin. Each time you come to your mat, you are in a different body, you are in a different space, you are here. And it is not to be compared with the Yin Yoga class you did last week, or last month, or wherever you got your body to. It is exactly what's going on right now. So the first thing to note in Yin is we come to a place called our edge. It's 60% where we feel tension, right, down the area that we are working. So right now I'm working the back of my right hamstring. I'm also getting a little bit into the calf and slightly into the perineal. And there's also a little bit going into my glute. But it's not painful, but it most definitely is uncomfortable. And that's exactly what we're looking for here in Yin. The second element in Yin is we stay still. So it's a beautiful opportunity just to focus on your breath, to shut down your eyes, to not fidget, to move inward and focus on being here. The third element of Yin is we stay for an amount of time. So in Yin, we can extend that time anywhere from 3 minutes, all the way up to 10 minutes in some Yin classes. But for the purpose of an hour class, we'll probably be holding the poses no longer than 5 minutes. For this particular one we are in at the moment, we're probably about halfway. I used to live in a world of reactivity myself. My first 4 yin classes that I attended, I walked out of. I couldn't be quiet with my thoughts. I couldn't be still in my body. I was so on autopilot. I kept thinking, along the lines of, I could be spending this hour moving or burning calories or doing something productive. Nothing's happening here. And I just created this internal dialogue of, when I get out of here, I'm going to do this to make up for it, or I'm wasting my time. And of course, the more we give our energy and attention to our thoughts, the more that story builds. So I was consistently knocking myself out of presence in every single yin class that I did. It took me a lot of practice to learn how to pause in a world that tells us to keep going, to keep striving, to keep pushing, that we need to achieve to be successful, that we need to keep climbing the ladder to be recognized, that for our own self-worth and self-appreciation, we need to fit a certain label. So pausing and stopping and giving ourselves permission just to be can be really challenging with the conditioning that we've been growing up in the world we live in today. So like building a bicep in the gym, like practicing piano. It's about giving ourselves the patience, the repetition, and the time to practice slowing down, to practice pausing, so that we are able to choose if we can respond or react in whatever unfolds around us. We've got 1 more minute here, everyone. It's about 5 or 6 breaths. Rumi once said, when you are quiet, you are able to hear. So notice what comes up for you with this class. Notice where your mind goes, notice any emotions. And is it possible to be gentle with yourself? I see you, I feel you, and it's okay. We're going to explore 1 more full breath in and a full breath out. If your left leg is straight, please very, very, very slowly bend that left knee. Lift up your shoulders, release the strap, and we're going to go straight from here into our Recline Pigeon Pose. So bringing the right foot on top of the left quadricep. Now for some of you, this might be more than enough to actually just gently push open the right knee with your right hand. So we're here for about 3 minutes, and if you would like more, of course, you can lift up your left heel, reach through and either grab the back of the left hamstring, or reaching through again and catching the front of the left shin. Again, I invite you just to relax down where you are in this supine position. Getting right into those hips and hamstrings, areas that, of course, are little storage cases for our emotions. Everything around this sacral chakra encompasses our hips, encompasses our lower back. And things can get really, really tight here if we are suppressing or pushing down emotions that we don't want to feel. So like what happened to me today, You know, I felt angry, I felt reactive, but I also was in this mindset, what can I do to numb this out? I don't want to feel this is making me feel like this is uncomfortable. But I had to actually choose and sit with it. Actually sit down and go, hang on, what am I experiencing here? How can I see this through the lens of love? And how can I choose again? Our nervous systems at the moment are the most important things to keep regulated. When our nervous system is in flow, we can be present, we can be aware, and we can make good choices. Might be a beautiful time to come back to noticing your breathing. Maybe you're thinking about dinner, maybe you're thinking about something that happened previous to this moment. So if that is the case, just gently catch yourself with the words, oh, I'm thinking about this, or I'm in the future, or I'm in the past. And by catching it, soften your body, forgive the thought, and choose again to come back to the breath. Just breathing in for the count of 4 or 5. And breathing out for the count of 4 or 5. And then rinse and repeat. Last minute here, everyone. So we're a little bit longer on our hamstrings than in this position. It's about 3 minutes in this pose. Take one more full breath in, and a full breath out. To release, gently lift up your shoulders to create space. Unhook the right foot, and I'm going to place my feet nice and wide and drop my knees in for teepee pose for an internal rotation. If you, of course, would prefer a different shape, then go there. It's your body. Listen to what your body needs, but shut down your eyes and take a few breaths here in rebound. What's going on in your hips and hamstrings? What can you feel? Just acknowledge it. Don't judge it. Just pay attention. Take one more breath in and a breath out. Before we shift to the other side, we're actually going to come into a heart opener and a shoulder opener before we go to the left. So I like to use a bolster for this pose. Again, just try to find something you can prop yourself up on. You can use your elbows if you don't have a bolster on the ground. But what's really important is that when we are, again, triggered or under stress or anxiety or tension or whatever it might be, or if we are on our phones consistently, which can also happen over lockdown, what's going to happen is we're going to get this kind of internal rotation with our shoulders, our spine will round, we close off our hearts. And that, along with stress and tension, is just consistently doing this, and it does nothing for our posture. And again, when we are closed, we are not receptive. So Michael Singer constantly says in his book, The Untethered Soul, stay open in every single moment that unfolds in front of you. We always have that choice. So this is a beautiful shape to remind us of what that actually feels like. This is called Sunbaker Pose. When I did my Yin Yoga training with Truth Robinson, this is one of my favorite shapes. So the elbows tuck inwards, right? So no chicken wings, we don't want to be out like that. Your bum is really close to the bolster. Now this might be enough for you if your chest and shoulders are quite tight. Mine are a little bit tight today. I've been doing a lot of play and handstands and stuff like that, so I'm definitely feeling it. Now, if you want a little bit more, what you'll do is push through your heels and you're going to bring your bum forward. Now that's going to open up the space, the front of the delts. It's going to open the space of the pec minor and the chest. And then you'll feel your scapula draw together. And we're going to throw in a hip opener here too. So coming into Baddha Konasana or butterfly legs, so soles of the feet together and the knees out to the side. And we're going to just be here for a good 3 minutes. Now this can be a strong shape into the shoulders. So if you have arrived in this shape and you straight away gone into an internal dialogue of, oh my goodness, this is really hard. If you're in pain, back it off. That's not what Yin Yoga is about. Yin is a practice of surrender, leaning in and yielding to the uncomfortable. Some shapes feel great, some shapes not so great. Can you appreciate each one for simply what it is? So close down your eyes, breathe in, breathe out. That's all you need to do here. Notice the rise and fall of your belly with your breathing. You can actually somatically see the body rise on your inhale and the body release and go on your exhale. Stay present with that. You know, what we practice grows stronger, so the more we practice getting distracted by our phones when things get tough, or distracted by over-exercising or alcohol or cigarettes or whatever, or food or whatever it might be, then if we continue to practice that, they are the neurons that we are going to fire and wire together that are going to get stronger and stronger, so that when we are triggered in our environment, the brain's going to tell us, well, you reach for this because it makes you feel better for a moment. We get a dopamine spike. So the same can be achieved going the other way. If we have the willpower to choose to distract ourselves when things get tough, then we have the willpower to choose to actually sit in it and feel it for what it is. For when we are able to feel, we are able to move through it in that moment and heal. Take 5 more breaths here. This is your last breath in, and a breath out. To come out of this, guide your knees gently back in. And before you move too quickly, push through the heels, bring your bum back to the bolster. And then from here, walk your feet forward and lie down with your head onto the cushion that's behind you and come into rebound. Spend 5 breaths here. Might be really nice to place your hand on your heart, to notice what compassion feels like in the body. The shoulders are back, the heart is open. There is a sense of curiosity, not comparison. Take a breath in and a breath out. Gently gently just move the bolster out from your head. Your strap or whatever you're using should be next to you somewhere. So we're now working into the left hamstring. So this is a different hamstring. So treat it differently, you know. Listen to what's going on with it and take your time. So coming into the back of the head, or you'll just be holding on like I demonstrated before. Please keep a soft knee bend into that left knee. We don't want to get into the nerves. So keeping that soft knee bend. If you're more flexible, of course, you'll have a tighter strap. My hammies are quite tight today, as I mentioned before, so it is just tuning into where they need to be. Now, your bottom leg is either going to stay in a bed position, or you'll be extending the right leg out long, so long as that doesn't cause you any pain into your lower back or into your glutes. And wherever you have landed is now perfect. I invite you to shut down your eyes, let your head be held. If you are not using a yoga strap, then your shoulders and your upper back and scapula and traps are completely relaxed and on the ground. Come back to your breathing. So full breath in and full breath out. There's an old Buddhism story here on two Tibetan monks. One of the monks was a wiser, more established monk, whilst the other monk was quite young and quite new to the game. Both monks were on a bit of a mission to carry food into the village, and there'd been a lot of rain and storms and a bit of turbulent weather. As the monks sort of started on their journey, not far into it, they walked down the mountain. They had to cross which is usually a stream. But the stream was more like a torrent after all the rain they'd had, and it was going to be a little bit of a struggle to get across the water. When they reached the bottom of this stream, both of the monks noticed that there was a woman standing on the edge of the stream with her own food, and she was quite in distress as she was unable to cross. The younger monk, upon reaching the base of the stream, didn't think twice as he started to stride across the rivers with his bucket of food and, of course, made it to the other side. The older, more wiser monk, however, also didn't think twice. Upon reaching the edge of the stream, he picked up the woman and threw her over his shoulders. He waded across the turbulent river and they both made it to the other side. In turn, he put her down and she carried on her way without even an acknowledgement or gratitude or thank you. The two monks continued their walk on their way to the town, silently, for the next 2 hours. After that 2 hours though, however, the younger monk, frustrated and angry and clearly holding tension, turned to the older monk and said, "Why the hell did you do that? Why did you pick her up and carry her across the stream? You know that we are not allowed to touch women. I don't understand." The older monk turned to face the younger monk and gently replied, "I left her back at the riverbed over 2 hours ago. Why have you not been able to do the same?" Take one more full breath in and an open-mouthed exhale. Start by slowly bending the right knee, placing the right foot on the ground, gently lifting up those shoulders, removing the object, the strap, the dressing gown, whatever it is you've got, stocking, don't mind. Straight away, coupling this into a hip stretch, bringing the left heel onto the right quad, And again, maybe you stay here, it's a different hip, just like the different hamstring. Maybe you reach up and catch where you need to as we surrender here for 3 minutes into our supine pigeon pose. So just like my experience today, I could have chosen to hold on to the information that I received. I could have chosen to let anger and frustration and judgment and blame be the rest of my story for the rest of the day. I could have let it reside in my body as tension and tightness and stuckness. But at the end of the day, none of that was going to serve me. And what would serve me better is seeing what gratitude I could find in my day. Seeing what gratitude I could find over the last couple of days before the rule was put in place. To actually say thank you for the things that I was able to do rather than the things I was not. Therefore, just giving myself permission to surrender to what is. It's not saying that whatever has unfolded isn't right or wrong, but to hold tension, to make a story, to hold on to blame or unforgiveness is something that doesn't feel right in our bodies and will only manifest in time to inflammation, sickness and disease. So know that we always have a choice. The more of that we can let go of the things that bother us, the more that we can let go in the moment of situations that trigger us and go, is it really worth my attention and energy and effort? The more we create space in our bodies and our mind to be here, to be present. And of course, it is only in the present moment where we can choose compassion and to be kind. Last 5 breaths in this shape, everyone. Alright, everyone, take one more full breath in and a breath out. Gently unravel. And coming again into your position of rebound, whether or not you extend those legs out or find a position that suits you and just pause. Understand that your body will always be your biggest teacher. If we can be present in our bodies as often as possible, we can pick up the signs of tension and closing and do our best to let them go. Wayne Dyer once said, when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. Take a breath in and a breath out. We're going to roll to our sides and we are going to find our way up onto our bellies. We're going to find our way into Sphinx Pose. So we're going to get into our spine and you'll need a bolster. Again, we might visit Baby Seal Pose here, depending on what feels good in your body. So find yourself into a prone position. And of course with Sphinx Pose, it's very individual and the most important thing is to have some space between the feet and the ankles so that your spine and your sacrum has room to move. If our feet are together, we can lock up a little bit more through the sacrum. So I want you to find that space. And of course, if your spine is tight, then put your forehead onto 2 fists like this. We do not want to experience pain in our back bend, but we do want to experience compression. So this feeling of the bones, this stacking of the joints here, this compression. This is what we're looking for in this pose. So definitely no pain. So finding your way into your Sphinx pose, we are going to slightly press the pubic bone down, and then I invite you to actually roll the shoulders up, back and down. Now for some of you, I really love this pose, which is our baby seal pose. The bolster pretty much just goes underneath the chest, and we actually come as a slight external rotation of the shoulder blades as the arms go out about 45 degrees, and we are supported with the bolster, so baby seal pose. So either of these variations is fine. Listen to your body, and then we are going to shut down our eyes and be here for another 3 minutes. So where you are now, make sure you can stay. If it is a space that is aggravating or painful, back it off and come back to one of the other variations that I recommended before. Breathe in and breathe out, soften. Let yourself arrive. As we near the tail end, the last 15 minutes of this class, it might be a beautiful time to do a little bit of self-reflection right now. Internally investigate, is there anything that I'm holding on to from my day today? Maybe it's yesterday, maybe it's last week, maybe it's a comment on a Facebook thread, which can be so dangerous at the moment. Is it really worth your attention? How much space is it taking up in my mind and my body? And is it stopping me from being present? It's up to us to do the work. I'm constantly doing the work every single day. We never ever have our shit together. You know, the Buddha says all of life is suffering, but it is our job to return ourselves back to equilibrium the moment we get tipped off balance. It's our job to see how quickly we can do that so that we maintain a regulated nervous system, a steady mind, and a healthy body. For those of you that may want a little bit more, please back it off if you need to back it off, or for those of you who feel comfortable, you're welcome to come up into full seal pose. We've got 6 more breaths here, so about a minute. Try to relax your glutes a little bit here, but a gentle press down of the tailbone. Breathe. wherever you are. So allow yourself to come down to the ground. We're going to relax down into this prone position. Relax your forehead, turn your cheek one direction and breathe in. And breathe out. Got a couple of options in this next pose. It's either going to be coming back into child's pose or melting heart. So take your time, please gently press up. Coming into all fours and just a little bit of activation, a tiny bit of movement to just move the chi, energy, prana, whatever you want to call it, through our bodies. So being still for a little while. So I'm going to invite you to just move your spine in all different directions, but move slowly with your breath. No right or wrong here. Just experience what it feels like to add in a little bit of movement, slow, conscious, aware, let it feel good. So 3 more breaths here. Now, if you are coming into a child's pose, you're going to bring your knees wide and sink your hips back over your heels, letting your forehead rest down into a bolster, a cushion, or the floor. However, if you would like to come into melting heart, then you can do this by sliding a bolster through the middle, if you like, keeping the hips stacking above the knees and dropping yourself down into melting heart. If you don't want to use the bolster, not a problem. Find where you need to be, the hands extend out, and we are slowly just going to melt our heart down. We're not here for too long. It's a really nice way to open up the front of the chest and the shoulders. And again, just to work a little bit into that spine. So we're just going to be here for probably another 10 to 12 breaths, so 3 minutes in total. Just allowing yourself to be. Now, of course, if you're in a child's pose, then you'll be sinking those hips back over the heels, but please find the space that you need to now shut down your eyes and land wherever you've landed and let go. Come back to that breath, so breathing in, starting from the belly, the rib cage and the lungs, and breathing out, let go of the lungs, the rib cage and the belly. You take 5 to 6 more rounds of breath here, just letting yourself surrender and land on every exhale. To really appreciate this time of pausing, giving back to yourself. You may have noticed that not just your body but your mind has started to soften, to become a little bit more quiet, to just be in the space. Give yourself permission to receive whatever it is that your body needs in this moment. By being open and receptive, we are able to receive. Breathe in, breathe out. Take one more full breath in. And a full breath out. We're actually going to slowly come back to a child's pose. Those of you who are in a child's pose, please stay. It's going to take 3 breaths here. Gently coming up to seated. We're going to do our twist seated this afternoon. So if you feel like you're about 100 years old, you should. Great. That's exactly what Yin Yoga is supposed to do. Now for some of us, we might like to keep the right leg extended, bring the left foot over the top. This might be more than enough for some of us in this seated twist, but for some of us, you might like to bend or lean to the right, bend the right knee and scoot that right foot over. So we're coming to a seated twist for our spine, but it's also a nice one for the hips as well. So from this position, with the left leg over the top, we're going to inhale, bring the right arm up to the top, wrap the right elbow around the left knee. Now visualize that somebody is drawing their fingers up your spine, and keeping a long spine, we're going to start to turn and look over our left shoulder. So soften the shoulders up, back and down, and you'll get a really decent stretch here into your glutes as well, which is why I wanted to do it seated. So really feeling this beautiful twist by gently hooking that right elbow onto that left knee. Some of you might like to bring the right elbow onto the outside or the lateral side of that left knee, your choice. Listen to your bodies here. We're going to take 5 breaths. Twists are amazing for detoxing anything that we don't need out of our bodies. And it's held in our bodies as ama or toxicity. And again, anything that we store in our bodies or our thoughts is going to come out physiologically in our bodies over time. It is up to us to choose to let go. Take a breath in and a breath out. Chill out. Just going to open the backs of the shoulders here for a moment. So planting both of the feet down, bring your hands behind you, reverse tabletop, take your time, slowly push through. Feel the heart space open here. Take 3 breaths. One more full breath in. And slowly come back down. Extending the left leg out this time. And again, it's going to be up to you whether or not you keep that left leg where it is. That's going to be your choice, depending on how your body feels. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. What matters is what it feels like in your body. So slowly, maybe lean to the left and scoot that leg behind. Both of the sit bones are onto the ground. With the right knee over the top, we're going to inhale, bring up the left arm. Gently wrap the left elbow around that right knee, long spine, and gently turn and twist. My glute on this side is so much tighter, so I'm going to stay right here. You guys, if you would like to, bring that elbow on the outside, that's up to you, but don't force it. 5 breaths here. It's really, really important. Finding our edge in yin also helps us when we are off the mat to find our edge, to not push it. To not go past that point of striving, but simply let ourselves arrive where we are at, without the need for more. You are exactly where you need to be. We have all we need. This is it. In this moment, today, right now, this is perfect. So appreciate what happened today. We got to have today. That is amazing. So take the time to really lean into that gratitude and appreciation of just getting to be here. None of us know what's going to happen tomorrow. So take the time to feel warmth and compassion and love in your heart. and share that out to somebody when you finish this class today. Take one more breath in. On your exhale, come back to center. And we're going to finish this class in Shavasana, but if you would prefer to stay seated, you're more than welcome. I'm going to stay seated so that I can be present to guide you through Shavasana, but I invite you to lie down onto your mats, to extend yourself out long so that your palms are open, the shoulders are away from your ears. Let your feet flop open as you lie down onto your mat. I invite you to take a deep breath in and an open-mouthed exhale out. Allow your whole body to become heavy, supported, held. Let go of the need to rush to something else right now. This is the most important shape of the whole practice. The ability to just be, the ability to pause, and the ability to fight the urge to be anywhere else but here. A gentle mantra for this final shape. I choose to surrender to what's here, to lean into gratitude and appreciation for everything that happened today. I choose to feel love. Breathe in, breathe out, and yield to this final shape. It is up to you how you move forward from this moment. And the moment after that, and the moment after that. Remember, you are always a teacher to someone. There is always somebody watching you, learning from you. And we are always the practitioner on a constant journey of learning, growing, messing it up, practicing, and the opportunities to choose again. Gabby Bernstein once said, "Obstacles are detours in the right direction." So when we are faced with a hurdle, a challenge, something that shows up in our environment, use our triggers as our teacher to look at what it is that we need to heal in our own heart. Remember, we are constantly doing the work. What we need right now as a collective is to come back to our pure sense of oneness, that we are as humans living on this earth together. We share a body, we share breath, we share life, we share death. Not one of us are different. We come back to that natural state of gentleness and compassion. By you offering that out, you're giving permission for another person to do the same. So take a breath in here in this surrendered state. And on your exhale, give yourself permission to let something go. And then practice that throughout your afternoon into tomorrow. Constantly be aware of what it is your body is telling you. And ask yourself the question, is this worth my energy and attention? Do I really need to take this on board? Breathe in. Breathe out. Wriggle your toes and your fingers. And I want you to say thank you. Thank you to today. Thank you to your physical body that is your vehicle for exploration, for curiosity, for experiencing the challenges, the changes, and the curiosity that we get to face in life alone. When you feel ready, roll to your side, curl into a little ball of gratitude, and let it fill you up in every single cell in your body. And then see if you can share that with somebody today. When you feel ready, gently come up to seated with a long spine. Take a breath in. Open the mouth and let it go. And just one more like that with a little bit more of a hold. Breathe in. Hold it. Now when I say exhale, I want you to really let something go. So open your mouth, fully let go. When you feel ready, gently open your eyes, returning yourself back to where you are. Taking a moment to just bask in the feels of what Yin can do. To remind us that there are beautiful moments all the time within the chaos. And all of the moments are meant to be felt and experienced and heard and moved through in that moment. Not ever suppressed or pushed down, or not ever felt like we shouldn't be here. Just like the good emotions, the highs, the lows are meant to be felt just the same. Just acknowledge it. Acknowledge it in your mind, acknowledge it in your body, and give yourself permission for it to be okay. Know that everything is always changing. Nothing lasts forever. Take a breath in and a breath out. Bring your thumbs gently to your third eye, honoring yourself, for we can never ever pour from an empty cup. With love and light and gratitude for you all. Namaste. Thanks everyone. It's a pleasure. It's really, really lovely to be here to share Yin with you all. I hope you're feeling good. I'd love to know how you found that in the comments. I think I went 1 or 2 minutes over. It's very difficult to fit Yin into 60 minutes, but I'm super grateful for you all. And thank you so much for joining us online today. Yeah, very, very much appreciated. Have a beautiful, beautiful night. I'll see you guys all soon.